I told my daughter that I have 2 daughters and you are not one of them. The words came out of my mouth before I could stop them. Emma froze with her fork halfway to her mouth, staring at me across our kitchen table with an expression I'd never seen before. I'm Marcus, Emma's dad, and I've been raising her alone since her mom died 3 years ago. Emma just turned 16 last month. She's always been my little girl, my whole world. But something has been wrong for the past 2 weeks, and I finally couldn't pretend anymore. It started with small things that I told myself were just normal teenage changes. Emma came home from school one day and didn't hug me like she always did. When I asked about her day, she gave me this blank look before answering normally. She'd always been chatty, telling me about her friends and classes and drama, but suddenly her answers became short and careful, like she was thinking too hard about what to say. Then I noticed she was eating differently. Emma had been a vegetarian since she was 12, absolutely refused to touch meat, but last week I found her eating leftover chicken from the fridge at midnight. When I asked about it, she looked confused and said she must have been sleepwalking. The handwriting was wrong too. Emma had always written in this messy, looping style that drove her teachers crazy, but her homework suddenly looked different, neater, more controlled, formed differently. When I mentioned it, she shrugged and said she was trying to improve her penmanship. She stopped asking for her favorite foods. Emma had been obsessed with strawberry pancakes every Sunday morning for years. It was our tradition, but the past 3 Sundays, she just ate whatever I made without commenting. Like she didn't even remember that strawberry pancakes were her thing. Her room felt different when I walked past. Emma was messy, but in a specific way. Clothes everywhere, but her books always organized by color. Now everything was neat but wrong, like someone had cleaned it who didn't know where things actually belonged. The biggest thing was the scar. Emma had a small scar on her left wrist from falling off her bike when she was 8. I'd taken her to the emergency room myself, held her hand while they stitched it up. We used to joke that it looked like a tiny lightning bolt. But 3 days ago, I noticed the scar was on her right wrist instead. When I stared at it, Emma quickly pulled her sleeves down and said she was cold. I went to her baby book that night and checked the photos. Every picture clearly showed the scar on her left wrist. I started testing her memory about things only Emma would know. I mentioned her imaginary friend from kindergarten, calling him by the wrong name. The real Emma would have corrected me immediately, probably rolled her eyes. This Emma just nodded along like she agreed. I asked about her favorite vacation, the camping trip to Lake George when she was 10. Emma had talked about that weekend constantly for years, how we caught fireflies and made s'mores. But when I brought it up, she looked blank for a second before saying, yeah, that was fun, without any of the enthusiasm or specific details the real Emma always shared. Last night I found her standing in the hallway outside her bedroom at 2 a.m., perfectly still, just staring at the family photos on the wall. When I asked what she was doing, she said she was having trouble sleeping, but she'd been standing there for at least 20 minutes based on when I first heard movement. She didn't recognize our neighbor Mrs. Patterson this morning. Emma had known her since we moved here 8 years ago, always waved and chatted when we saw her walking her dog, but when Mrs. Patterson called out good morning, Emma gave her a polite but confused smile, like she was meeting a stranger. The final test was this afternoon. I showed her a picture on my phone from her birthday party last month. In the photo, Emma was wearing her lucky bracelet, the one her mom gave her that she never takes off. I asked her where that bracelet was now. She looked at the picture for a long time, then at her bare wrist, then back at me. She said she didn't remember ever having a bracelet like that, but Emma was wearing it in the photo, and I could see it clearly. So tonight at dinner, I couldn't hold it in anymore. The words just came out. I told her I have 2 daughters, and she wasn't one of them. Emma set down her fork and looked at me with eyes that seemed too old, too knowing for a 16-year-old girl. Then she smiled, but it wasn't Emma's smile at all. And that's when I realized what had happened to my real daughter. Emma's smile grows wider, revealing too many teeth, not Emma's teeth. The smile stretches at impossible angles, like her face isn't quite the right size for the expression. Hello, Marcus, she says, and even her voice has changed, deeper, with an accent I can't place. I was wondering how long it would take you to notice. My hand trembles as I push back from the table. The kitchen suddenly feels too small, the air too thick. What did you do with my daughter? I whisper, surprised I can form words at all. Where is Emma? The thing wearing my daughter's face tilts its head, studying me like I'm an interesting specimen in a jar. Those eyes, Emma's hazel eyes that she got from her mother, now look ancient and calculating. Your daughter is perfectly safe. Not, Emma says, setting down her fork with deliberate precision. Well, relatively speaking, she's where I was. And I'm where she is. She gestures to herself with Emma's hands. Simple exchange. I lunge across the kitchen to grab the knife block, pulling out the largest one with shaking hands. Tell me where she is right now, or I swear to God. You'll what? Stab your daughter's body? Not, Emma laughs, the sound like ice cracking. That would be rather counterproductive, wouldn't it? She stands slowly, and I back away, knife extended between us. Emma is in a parallel dimension, she says calmly, as if explaining math homework. A mirror world, if you prefer simpler terms. Today is what we call swap day, the one day each year when the barriers between our worlds are thin enough to cross. That's impossible, I say, but my voice lacks conviction. After all, what other explanation could there be for the scar moving, for all the little changes I've noticed? Is it not? Emma raises an eyebrow. You've already figured out I'm not your Emma. Is it really such a stretch to believe in parallel worlds? Why her? I demand, knife still pointed at this thing wearing my daughter's face. Why my Emma? Not Emma's expression shifts to something almost like pity. Because I need her life, Marcus. My world is dying. We're all dying. And your daughter? Healthy? Loved? With a future? She was perfect. So you just took her? Stole her life? The rage building inside me is overwhelming. Bring her back, now. Not, Emma sighs. It's not that simple. The crossing only works on swap day, once a year, and even then, only if both parties are in the right place at the right time. I don't believe any of this, I say, though the knife in my hand is starting to feel heavy. You're lying! Am I? Not. Emma's eyes suddenly roll back, showing only whites. When they return to normal, they're completely black. No whites, no irises. Just darkness. Do humans do this? I stumble backward, knocking into the counter. The knife clatters to the floor. Not. Emma picks up her water glass and crushes it in her hand. The glass shatters, but when she opens her palm, there's no blood. The cuts heal before my eyes, glass fragments falling to the table. Or this? She asks. My legs give out, and I slide down against the refrigerator until I'm sitting on the kitchen floor. What are you? I whisper. We don't have names for ourselves that would translate, she says, brushing glass shards from her palm. But we've existed alongside your world forever, watching, waiting for opportunities. How do I know Emma is still alive? I ask, my voice breaking. Not. Emma considers me for a moment. Emma had an imaginary friend in kindergarten named Mr. Whiskers, not Mr. Bubbles, as you called him earlier. At Lake George, she caught 7 fireflies in a jar but cried when one died before morning. Mrs. Patterson's dog is named Bingo, and he always barks 3 times when Emma walks past. My blood runs cold. Those are details only Emma would know. Your wife, Caroline, gave Emma that bracelet on her 10th birthday, not long before the cancer diagnosis. Emma promised never to take it off, and she never has, in your world. In mine, such promises are flexible. Hearing my wife's name from this creature's mouth makes me feel sick, but it also confirms what I've suspected. This thing has access to Emma's memories. How many others? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. How many other children have you stolen? Not. Emma smiles that terrible smile again. Enough to know what I'm doing. Your daughter isn't the first, Marcus, and she certainly won't be the last. I force myself to my feet, leaning against the counter for support. I want my daughter back, and I want to live. Not, Emma says simply. We can't always get what we want. She stands, smoothing down Emma's favorite blue sweater with hands that look like my daughter's but move all wrong. I think I'll go to my room now. It's been an exhausting day, pretending to be human. As she turns to leave, I find my voice again. This isn't over. Not. Emma pauses in the doorway, looking back at me with those eyes that are Emma's but not Emma's. You're right about that, Marcus, she says softly. It's only just beginning. She walks upstairs, leaving me alone in the kitchen with a dropped knife, shattered glass, and the horrible knowledge that somewhere, in some other dimension, my real daughter is trapped and probably terrified. I pick up the knife again, feeling its weight. I don't know if I believe in parallel dimensions or swap days or any of this impossible nonsense. But I do know one thing with absolute certainty. That thing upstairs is not my Emma, and I will do whatever it takes to get my real daughter back. I wake up with a pounding headache and a terrible realization that thing upstairs isn't my daughter. The memory of last night's confrontation floods back, along with not Emma's inhuman smile and those black eyes that still haunt me. I've spent the entire night sitting against Emma's bedroom door, kitchen knife in hand, unable to sleep more than a few minutes at a time. Morning light streams through the hallway window as I push myself to my feet, muscles aching from the uncomfortable position. I press my ear against Emma's door. Silence. Is she still in there? I turn the handle slowly, preparing for anything. The room is empty, window still locked from the inside. Where did she go? A noise from downstairs answers my question. I grip the knife tighter and make my way down, finding not Emma in the kitchen, calmly eating cereal. She looks up at me with Emma's face, but the expression is all wrong, calculated, amused. Good morning, Marcus, she says pleasantly. Sleep well? Where is my daughter? I demand, voice raw from lack of sleep. She sighs, setting down her spoon. I told you yesterday, she's where I'm from, and she'll stay there forever, unless you accept me as your new daughter. Something in me snaps. I lunge forward, grabbing her arm and twisting it behind her back. She doesn't resist as I march her down to the basement, her body unnaturally compliant. This is unnecessary, she says as I secure her to a support beam with duct tape and zip ties from my toolbox. I'm not going anywhere. This is my home now. This will never be your home, I spit, tightening the last restraint. And you are not my daughter. Not. Emma tilts her head, studying me with those calculating eyes. You're making a mistake, Marcus. The longer Emma stays on my side, the harder it will be to bring her back. If it's even possible at all. I back away, refusing to engage further. I'm going to find out what you are and how to get my daughter back. Her laughter follows me up the stairs. Good luck with that. No one will believe you. I lock the basement door and head straight for Emma's room. There must be clues, something to explain what's happening. Her room looks normal at first glance, books still arranged by color on the shelves, posters of bands I don't recognize on the walls. But as I search, I notice small changes. The books are perfectly aligned now, spines exactly even. Emma's organized, but never this precise. Under her mattress, I find her diary, the one with the silver lock she's kept since she was 12. I've never invaded her privacy before, but these aren't normal circumstances. The lock breaks easily in my desperate hands. The entries from the past few months start normally enough: school drama, crush updates, complaints about homework. But about 6 weeks ago, the tone changes. March 15, saw it again today. The shadow person watching me from across the street. Mom would say I'm being dramatic, but Dad might believe me. Not telling either of them though. Don't want to worry, Dad. March 28, shadow person getting closer. Saw it outside my window last night. Stayed up until 3 a.m. with the lights on. April 4. It knows I can see it. When our eyes met today, it smiled. Not a human smile, something else. The entries continue, growing more frantic, describing a figure that gets closer each day. The final entry, dated just 3 days ago, sends ice through my veins. It's almost time. The shadow person says swap day is coming, says I'm perfect, says it needs my life more than I do. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. If anything happens to me, Dad, I love you. I clutch the diary to my chest, fighting back tears. Emma knew something was coming for her, and I didn't protect her. I failed her. My phone rings, startling me. It's my boss wondering why I haven't shown up for work. I mumble something about a family emergency and hang up. I need to research, to understand what I'm dealing with. Hours later, I've fallen down an internet rabbit hole of parallel dimensions and doppelgangers. Most sites are obvious nonsense, but a pattern emerges in local news reports. 7 teenagers reported missing in surrounding counties over the past 3 years, all around Emma's age. All eventually returned home, with parents reporting personality changes attributed to typical teenage rebellion. A noise downstairs interrupts my research. I grab the knife and race down to find the basement door wide open, restraints torn apart like paper. Not Emma is gone. Panic rises in my throat as I search the house, but she's vanished. I run outside, scanning the street, when a voice calls my name. Marcus? Everything all right? It's Mrs. Patterson, our neighbor of 8 years, walking her dog Bingo. The corgi barks 3 times at me, just like Emma always said he would. Mrs. Patterson, I say, approaching her quickly. Have you seen Emma? Something flickers in her eyes, recognition, then concern. Come inside, she says quietly. Now, her living room is filled with books, ancient-looking volumes lining every wall. She gestures for me to sit while she locks the door and closes all the blinds. I realize. You know what's happening to Emma? Mrs. Patterson nods gravely. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this. I've been watching your family since you moved here. Watching over Emma, specifically. What are you talking about? She sits across from me, hands folded in her lap. I'm a guardian, Marcus, one of many stationed across the boundary points between dimensions. We monitor for crossings, for swap attempts. My head spins. So what not Emma said is true about parallel dimensions? Yes, though she wouldn't have told you everything. Mrs. Patterson's eyes harden. Their world is dying because they've consumed it. Now they're looking for new hosts, new lives to steal. How do I get Emma back? You have 48 hours before the swap becomes permanent, she says. After that, Emma will be trapped forever. Before I can ask more, the windows shatter inward. Not Emma stands in the broken frame, her eyes completely black, face twisted in rage. You shouldn't have interfered, Guardian, she hisses, voice no longer attempting to sound human. Mrs. Patterson moves with surprising speed for her age, pulling a strange metal object from beneath her coffee table. Marcus, run! Not Emma lunges forward with impossible speed, knocking Mrs. Patterson backward. They struggle, as I stand frozen in horror. Mrs. Patterson's hand finds my arm, pressing something into it, an ancient book with worn leather binding. Find the anchors, she gasps as not Emma's hands close around her throat. 3 things connected to Emma's true self. The ritual page, 47. Hurry. I hesitate, wanting to help, but Mrs. Patterson's eyes lock with mine. Go, save your daughter. I clutch the book and run, the sounds of struggle fading behind me. Back home, I lock every door and window, though I know they won't keep not Emma out for long. My hands shake as I open the book to page 47, where faded text describes a ritual to reverse a dimensional swap. The ritual requires 3 personal anchors, objects deeply connected to Emma's true identity. I think immediately of her lucky bracelet, the one her mother gave her that she never takes off. Not Emma wasn't wearing it this morning. I tear apart Emma's room until I find it, tucked inside a small box at the back of her closet. 1 anchor down, 2 to go. And somewhere out there, not Emma is coming for me, while Mrs. Patterson lies injured or worse. The clock is ticking. 48 hours to save my daughter before she's lost forever. Mrs. Patterson's book trembles in my hands as I flip through the ancient pages. The ritual instructions are written in faded ink, with diagrams that make my skin crawl. I need 3 anchors, objects deeply connected to Emma's true identity, to open a gateway between dimensions and bring her back. The lucky bracelet sits heavy in my palm, its silver charm catching the morning light. 1 down, 2 to go. I think about what else might serve as an anchor. Something personal. Something that represents the real Emma. The photo from Lake George, the one from our family vacation when she was 10. Emma kept a copy in her school locker. My hands shake as I grab my car keys. Not Emma is still out there, probably hunting me down after what happened at Mrs. Patterson's. I need to move fast. The high school parking lot is nearly empty when I arrive. A few teachers' cars and some stragglers from after-school activities. I sign in at the front office as Emma's father, saying I need to get something from her locker. The secretary barely looks up from her computer. Locker number? 2187, I say, remembering the combination of Emma's birthday that she's used since middle school. The hallways are eerily quiet as I make my way to Emma's locker. My footsteps echo against the lockers, each sound making me flinch. What if not Emma is here? What if she's watching me right now? The combination clicks open on the first try. Inside, Emma's textbooks are stacked with military precision, nothing like the chaotic pile she usually maintains. Another sign of the imposter's presence. I dig through the locker, pushing aside notebooks and folders until I find it a small magnetic frame stuck to the inside of the door. The photo shows Emma and me at Lake George, both of us grinning with sunburned noses, holding up a string of fish we'd caught that morning. It had been our first trip after her mother died, and despite our grief, we'd managed to find moments of joy. This was one of them. I slipped the photo into my pocket alongside the bracelet, 2 anchors down. As I close the locker, a chill runs up my spine. I'm being watched. I turn slowly to find the school janitor staring at me from the end of the hallway. There's something wrong with his eyes. They're too dark, too focused. "Can I help you find something, sir?" he asks, his voice unnaturally smooth. I back away slowly. "No, I'm good. Just needed to grab something from my daughter's locker." His head tilts at an odd angle. "Emma's father, right? She's such a special girl." The way he says special makes my blood run cold. I turn and walk quickly toward the exit, feeling his eyes on my back the entire way. Once outside, I break into a run, not stopping until I reach my car. The drive home is a blur of paranoia, checking my rearview mirror at every turn. By the time I pull into my driveway, I'm drenched in sweat. The house is still empty, no sign of not Emma's return. I spread Mrs. Patterson's book on the kitchen table and study the ritual more carefully. The third anchor needs to be something that represents Emma's future, her potential. The bracelet connects her to her past, the photo to her experiences, but what represents what she could become? My search is interrupted by the sound of breaking glass upstairs. I grab a kitchen knife and creep up the stairs, heart hammering in my chest. Emma's bedroom door is ajar, and I can hear movement inside. I push the door open to find not Emma ransacking the room, tearing through drawers and shelves. She whirls around when she hears me, her eyes completely black, her movements jerky and inhuman. "Where is it?" she hisses. "Where are the anchors?" "What did you do to Mrs. Patterson?" I demand. Knife extended. Not Emma's face twists into that terrible smile. "The Guardian? She's alive, for now, but she won't interfere again." She takes a step toward me, and I raise the knife higher. "Stay back." "Or what? You'll hurt your daughter's body?" She laughs coldly. "We both know you won't do that." "Why Emma?" I ask, trying to keep her talking while I edge toward the door. "Why my daughter?" Not Emma pauses, studying me with those alien eyes. "Because she's perfect, strong, healthy, loved." Her voice softens slightly. "Do you know what it's like where I come from? Our world is dying. The air is toxic. The water poisoned. We're all slowly suffocating. So you just take over innocent people's lives? Children's lives? We do what we must to survive." Not Emma's face hardens. 7 families before yours. 7 children whose parents never noticed the difference. Or if they did, they convinced themselves it was just teenage mood swings. Only you saw through the disguise so quickly. My grip on the knife tightens. "And the real Emma? What happens to her?" "She takes my place." "Not," Emma shrugs. "It's not ideal, but she'll survive. For a while, at least." "I'm bringing her back," I say firmly. "I already have 2 anchors." Something flickers across not Emma's face, fear. "It won't work. The ritual is too complex, too dangerous. You'll only hurt her." "I'll take that chance." Not Emma lunges suddenly, faster than any human could move. I slash with the knife, catching her arm. She hisses in pain but keeps coming, knocking me backward into the hallway. We struggle, crashing against the wall where family photos hang. One falls, the glass shattering. It's Emma's college brochure collection, the one she started when she was 14, full of highlighted programs and notes about her future. The third anchor. I kick not Emma away and dive for the fallen frame, snatching up the college brochures. She screams in rage, the sound inhuman and terrifying. I sprint for the stairs, clutching all 3 anchors, the bracelet, the photo, and the brochures. Not Emma is right behind me as I race out the front door. I need somewhere to perform the ritual, somewhere connected to the dimensions. Mrs. Patterson's book mentioned thin places where worlds intersect. I drive frantically, not Emma's car appearing in my rearview mirror within minutes. How did she find me so quickly? The abandoned West Side factory looms ahead, a place Emma always said gave her the creeps, like something was watching her there, a thin place. I screech into the parking lot and run inside, the anchors clutched to my chest. The factory floor is vast and empty, moonlight streaming through broken windows. As I reach the center, I hear voices, not just one, but many. Shadows move in the darkness. People emerge, teenagers with black eyes, moving with that same wrong gait as not Emma. The replacements, 7 of them, just as she said. "You're too late," says a tall boy with hollow cheeks. The ceremony has already begun. Behind them stands a figure more terrifying than the rest, a woman with chalk-white skin and eyes like bottomless pits, the leader. "Marcus," she says, her voice like rustling leaves. "We've been waiting for you." Not Emma pushes through the crowd, her face twisted with desperation. "Dad, please stop. You don't understand what you're doing." The dad catches me off guard. It's the first time she's called me that. "The ritual will kill her." Not, Emma continues, her voice breaking. "Your Emma is happy where she is. She prefers it there." "You're lying," I say, though doubt creeps in. "Am I?" Not Emma's expression softens to something almost like Emma's. "Ask her yourself." She gestures to a dark corner where the air seems to shimmer. For a moment, I see Emma, my real Emma, looking back at me through what appears to be a window between worlds. She looks different, paler, thinner, but alive. "Dad?" Her voice echoes, distorted like it's coming through water. "Dad, is that you?" I step forward, hope surging in my chest. "Emma, I'm going to bring you home." But Emma's face contorts with what looks like fear. "No, Dad. Don't. It's worse here. But if you bring me back." Not Emma lunges for the anchors in my hands. "See? She wants to stay." I don't believe it. Can't believe it. The Emma I know would never choose to stay trapped. This is another trick. I push Not Emma away and begin the ritual, placing the anchors in a triangle around me. The replacement beings move closer, their black eyes fixed on me with hungry intensity. Dad, please, not Emma begs, and for a second, she sounds exactly like my Emma. Please stop. But I can't stop now. Emma is counting on me. I open Mrs. Patterson's book to page 47 and begin to read the incantation, my voice growing stronger with each word. The factory air grows heavy, charged with electricity. The replacements shriek and cover their ears as the ritual words echo through the building. A wind from nowhere whips around us, and the shimmer in the corner grows larger, brighter. I can see Emma more clearly now, reaching toward me from the other side. Behind her is a wasteland, a dying world of ash and poison. This is where they come from. This is what they're escaping. Not Emma falls to her knees, her form flickering between Emma's appearance and something else, something gaunt and alien. Please, she whispers. She doesn't know what she's returning to. The ritual changes things. She won't be the same. I hesitate. The final words of the ritual on my lips. What if she's telling the truth? What if bringing Emma back will harm her somehow? But then I see the real Emma's eyes, my daughter's eyes, filled with the same determination I've known since she was small. She nods once, firmly. I finish the incantation, and the world explodes into blinding light. I place the 3 anchors in a triangle on the factory floor. Emma's lucky bracelet, the Lake George photo, and her college brochures. My hands tremble as I open Mrs. Patterson's book to page 47, the ritual instructions illuminated by moonlight streaming through broken windows. Dad, please stop, not Emma begs, her voice cracking with desperation. You don't understand what you're doing. The 7 replacement teens circle us, their black eyes reflecting no light. Behind them stands their leader, that chalk-skinned woman with eyes like bottomless pits. She watches with cold fascination as I begin reading the ancient words. The ritual will kill her. Not, Emma says, dropping to her knees. Your Emma is happy where she is. She prefers it there. I falter, doubt creeping in. What if she's right? Keep going, a weak voice calls from the shimmering portal. The real Emma reaches toward me, her face gaunt but determined. Don't listen to her, Dad, please. I continue the incantation, my voice growing stronger with each syllable. The air around us thickens, charged with electricity that makes the hair on my arms stand up. The anchors begin to glow, first the bracelet, then the photo, finally the brochures, each pulsing with a blue light that grows brighter by the second. Not Emma screams, the sound inhuman and piercing. Her form flickers, Emma's features melting away to reveal something skeletal and alien underneath before snapping back to my daughter's appearance. You're killing us both, she shrieks, lunging for the bracelet. I kick her away and complete the final verse. The factory windows shatter inward, glass raining down around us as a deafening crack splits the air. The shimmering portal expands, tearing open like fabric, revealing a wasteland beyond a dying world of ash and poison. This is where they come from. This is what they're escaping. The replacement teens fall to their knees, their bodies convulsing as the ritual pulls at them. Their leader hisses words in a language I don't understand, her fingers contorting into impossible shapes as she tries to counter the ritual. Dad, Emma calls, her voice stronger now. She stands at the threshold between worlds, her hand extended toward me. Help me through. I reach for her, our fingertips nearly touching across the divide. Not Emma tackles me from behind, her strength inhuman as she drags me away from the portal. She can't come back. Not, Emma snarls, her face inches from mine. The rules of transference, only one can exist here. I elbow her hard in the stomach and scramble back toward the portal. Emma is halfway through now, her upper body in our world, while her legs remain in that ashen hellscape. She's fighting to pull herself through, but something seems to be holding her back, dark tendrils of smoke wrapping around her ankles. The anchors, Emma gasps. Touch them to me. I grab the bracelet first, lunging forward to press it against Emma's outstretched hand. The moment it makes contact, a shockwave pulses through the factory, knocking the replacement teens backward. Emma's arm solidifies, becoming more substantial. Not Emma shrieks and charges again, but the leader grabs her arm, holding her back. We need you intact, the leader hisses. If she fully returns, you'll be pulled back. I seize the photo next, pressing it to Emma's cheek. Another pulse, stronger this time. Emma's torso fully materializes in our world, the smoke tendrils weakening their grip. The leader releases not Emma, who sprints toward us with terrifying speed. I won't go back, she screams, her voice distorting. I can't go back there. I grab the final anchor, the college brochures, and thrust them against Emma's chest just as not Emma reaches us. There's a blinding flash, a sound like thunder, and I'm thrown backward across the factory floor. When my vision clears, Emma, my real Emma, is lying on the concrete, fully in our world. Not Emma stands frozen, her body half transparent, being pulled back toward the portal. Her eyes meet mine, filled with terror and hatred. You don't know what you've done, she whispers, her voice fading. What comes through changes. The portal collapses with a final thunderclap, taking not Emma and the other replacements with it. Their leader remains for a moment longer, her bottomless eyes fixed on me. This isn't over, Guardian's ally, she says before dissolving into shadow. I crawl to Emma, gathering her in my arms. She's cold, too cold, but breathing. Her eyes flutter open, and I see my daughter, my real daughter, looking back at me. Dad, she whispers, her voice hoarse. Is it really you? It's me, sweetheart, I say, tears streaming down my face. I found you. You're home. She clings to me, her body trembling. I was so scared. That place, it was dying. They're all dying. I help her to her feet, supporting her weight as we make our way outside. The night air feels impossibly clean after the charged atmosphere of the factory. Emma breathes it in deeply, like she's been underwater for days. How long was I gone? she asks as I help her into the car. Almost 3 days, I tell her, but it felt like years. It was years there, she says quietly. Time moves differently. I was there for months. My hands freeze on the steering wheel. Months? Emma nods, staring out the window. That's how they learn to be us. They study us for months, learning our memories, our mannerisms. She watched me the whole time. I drive us to the hospital first. The doctors are confused by Emma's condition. Severe dehydration, malnutrition, yet no obvious explanation for it. I make up a story about finding her in an abandoned building after she ran away. They don't believe me, but they treat her anyway. While Emma sleeps in the hospital bed, I drive to Mrs. Patterson's house. I find her in her bedroom, bandaged but alive. She smiles weakly when she sees me. You did it, she says. I felt the dimensional shift. What are they? I ask, sitting beside her bed. Those things? Parasites, Mrs. Patterson says. Their world is dying because they consumed it. They've been crossing over for centuries, taking hosts, living our lives. My order has been fighting them for just as long. Not Emma said something about the ritual changing Emma. What did she mean? Mrs. Patterson's expression grows serious. No one returns from the other side unchanged, Marcus. The Emma you brought back will be different. She's seen things, experienced things, and time there. It doesn't flow like it does here. She said she was there for months. Mrs. Patterson nods. I'm not surprised. Watch her carefully. The changes might be subtle at first. 2 weeks later, Emma is physically recovered, but something is different. She startles at loud noises. She keeps all the lights on at night. She checks the locks on the doors and windows obsessively. And sometimes, when she thinks I'm not looking, I catch her staring at nothing, her expression haunted. What was it like there? I finally ask one night as we eat dinner, strawberry pancakes. Though it's Wednesday, not Sunday. Emma sets down her fork, empty, cold, like everything good had been drained out of the world. She pauses. They're desperate, Dad. Their world is almost gone. That's why they're coming through more frequently now. How do you know that? She told me, the one who took my place. We were connected somehow. I could feel what she felt, see what she saw. Sometimes I still can. I reach across the table, taking her hand. You're safe now. I won't let them take you again. Emma smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I know. That's why we need a system. We develop a verification code. Questions only the real Emma would know the answers to. What was the name of her imaginary friend in kindergarten? Mr. Whiskers, not Mr. Bubbles. What did she catch at Lake George when she was 10? 7 fireflies in a jar, though one died before morning. What did her mother whisper to her before she died? This one Emma won't tell me, but she says she'll know the answer if asked. 6 months later, life has almost returned to normal. Emma's nightmares have become less frequent. She's back at school, maintaining her grades. The scar is firmly back on her left wrist where it belongs. But one afternoon, Emma comes home from school with a strange expression on her face. What's wrong? I ask, recognizing the look of fear in her eyes. My friend Zoe, she says quietly. She's different. Little things at first. She started parting her hair on the opposite side. She forgot about her peanut allergy. She's suddenly getting straight A's in math when she always struggled before. My blood runs cold. Are you sure? Emma nods. Today, she called her dog by the wrong name, and when I mentioned it, she looked at me like she knew that I knew. She takes a deep breath. Dad, I think it's happening again. I think Zoe's been replaced. I pull Emma close, feeling her trembling against me. What do we do? I ask, though I already know the answer. Emma pulls back, her eyes showing a determination I've never seen before. We save her. We know how now. She touches the lucky bracelet on her wrist, the one she never takes off. And this time we're ready for them.